Hello and welcome to the Ink Archive. My name is Briar, and today I am joined with Tyler as we see another one of our local gameplays here. Tyler, tell us what we got going on today.
Hey everybody. So we got a couple of players. I believe we have George is back for the first time in a little while here. I believe today he's on Sapphire Steel. Not a color combination I've seen him play too often, so I think he's doing a little bit of experiment for a move on to the Whispers of the Well. And then we have Kenny as well today on Amethyst Steel. A slightly different version than usual. I believe it does look like he's on a lot heavier illusions than most Amethyst Steel decks are. So let's see if that plays out for him or not.
Yeah, no, these are definitely some interesting lists to see. I mean, we've got this like illusion focus, which is kind of cool to see some of these illusions coming down, but it's going to be rough to play against with another like steel matchup, which does target a lot of other characters. Like you can play Fire the Cannons to target some of these characters on the opposing side that have the illusion, which automatically like banishes those characters. So even if you just do that little bit of chipping damage, it still banishes them, which is really nice to get rid of, but very sad to see when they go when you get Fire the Cannons and you wish you could stay around a little bit longer. So I'm curious to see how Kenny here can survive that and hopefully like come out with his win here.
Yeah, I know. Notably, I have played against Kenny once or twice, I think. Notably, I do know he's on the Jafar. I believe its name is Striking Illusionist, the 5-cost uninkable 4/4 that quests for 3. And then when you quest with him, you can draw a card and then discard a card. And if you discard an illusion, you get to play that illusion for free. So that's like one of the ways you can mitigate some of the actions coming your way from another steel deck, is like play them for free, and then you don't feel nearly as bad about losing them to actions. It costs them a card and it didn't really cost you anything, but that also has to assume that the Jafar survives long enough to do its thing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good card to kind of have to bring back those illusions so you don't lose them. And of course, we're seeing our game one here. We're seeing a Mulan come down on George's side, discarding Beyond the Horizon. One of my favorite songs here is we get to discard that, so we don't get to see it played here. And then of course we see a Rafiki coming down on Kenny's side. Pretty good, pretty standard for these type of for these ink combinations. Kind of like a good start. We're back over here with Kenny, playing down this Jafar here that has evasive now. So he's a 3/2 with evasive during your that player's turn, which is pretty nice. Being able to take care of some of these evasive threats that do come down. Very good answer for that.
Yeah, the nice thing here is that George is going to be able to play this. I imagine he's going to play this Blakely, to ramp him just a little bit further here, and we'll be able to challenge both of these characters if they do decide to go sideways. So like Blakely typically is a step backward in tempo, but you do get a 3/4 out of it, which is nice. And it's a pretty solid body. Can sing Strength of Radifier if he didn't ink it. But I think he's got that docket of sand he's going to want to play pretty soon here. So I think he just doesn't care too much, especially with not a lot of characters on the board.
Yeah, and he has this Arthur I see in his hand, which is kind of interesting. We have this big old Arthur here, King Arthur, which does kind of stop you from drawing. So this dock is definitely going to help him out when he can't draw, when he has this Arthur out.
I think he's got the King Arthur in his hand.
Oh, is it not? Oh, it's the wrong Arthur. I'm thinking of the wrong Arthur then. I'm thinking the blue Arthur.
Yeah. That's the
okay.
7-cost one.
Oh, okay.
So he's in a bit of a pickle because he has no inkable cards in him. Like, he's going to have to play this dock if he doesn't find an inkable card. And even if he does find an inkable card, he still can't play either of the cards on his hand right now.
Well, he did draw an inkable for turn.
Good, though. It's decide if playing Kita is worth it or not.
Doesn't look like it is. I think it's just going to play this dock here, discarding both those cards and then drawing 2. and seeing if he can play anything else. And he is able to. He is able to play this Basil here that has support, boosting up some of these characters that he's gonna be challenging with coming up in the next couple turns.
Yeah, I think it was our decision. I think if even if he plays the Kata there, it gets 1 activation, which isn't really, and it's really, really slow for him. I think he wants to be doing more powerful things than that. But it is a shame that he had to get rid of it, because it is something that he would have liked to keep around.
And we got more inkable cards here, and we're going to be inking a Tipo, playing down this Hades here, and sending Genie into the Inkwell, so it cannot quest for the next turn. You see Basil questing, giving this boost to Pleakley, challenging into this Cobra, and banishing it. Now we're going to see Doc quest, and we're matched up with Lure, which is great. Being tied, trying to race here to that end. Pretty good control from this board from Jorge.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is he has no hand, and I believe his opponent has 2 or 3 cards in his hand right now. I think Kenny has a couple cards left. I'm not sure though, because he did discard a card from Cobra, so you might not be on too many. Just looks like maybe the 1.
Yeah, it looks like he might only have 1, but there could be 2. But either way, not a lot.
Yeah, low resources for both characters for sure, or for both characters, for both players. Kind of scary, but not too much. I think George, I'm not sure who that favors more. I'll be honest. Probably the Amethyst Steel, because they can just draw out of it a little bit easier than Sapphire Steel can. But I think George is at like his maximum ink right now. I think he's at 7, so I don't think there's gonna be too much more that he's gonna be able to pull. Like, he's not looking to ramp anymore.
Well, it looks like Kenny had 3 cards in his hand, and now drew a 4th one. So he's got 4 cards. We see Rose, the Queen, a Hypnotic Strength, and a Bell in hand here. So these are some interesting cards to be playing. This Queen's a very interesting one. We don't see this Queen quite often in any Amethyst Steel decks.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on it, but I'm curious what Kenny's thinking here. He really should just play this Hypnotic Strength, and he can take out the Hades, and it sets up for a nice Bell next turn. Hopefully we'll see that. Well, hopefully we'll see him do that, rather than doing too much else here. But this Queen is interesting. I did play against him playing it. Just shuffling cards back from the bottom of from the discard to the bottom of the deck to gain a bunch of lore, and it is just a 4/3. So it does put a nice clock on your opponent as long as they have cards in their discard, which is pretty good for Amethyst Steel.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to kind of just get some cheap, easy lure. Basically putting some cards back into the deck, because they're not going to see those cards often. They're not going to draw their whole deck most of the time. So getting to play that, gaining some lore off it to put you close to that end game, just to push you just enough to probably finish off the game is really nice.
Yep. George here gets to go 1 deep. Oh, doesn't I? Oh, I guess he doesn't get to. He would just discard the card. Forgot that Milan has a little more text on her than I remembered. Unfortunate here.
Yeah, it's looking kind of unfortunate for Jorge not having any cards in hand and just losing his board now. Getting the Rose singing Strength of a Raging Fire, knocking out this Tipo, and there's going to be probably something else here to take out this Mulan pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, probably he's gonna get the Queen down. I like this. Just keep the damage on the Iago. You're not that worried about this Milan. If George was on like Ruby Steel, I'd be a little more scared, but I don't think there's anything that this Mulan can shift into that's that scary. So I think you just kind of let it sit around and not do a ton here.
Yeah, it's not going to do a whole lot. It's pretty much safe here. This Mulan's not going to really do anything. But we do get to see this Jasmine now. Now, this Jasmine is quite an interesting card coming down. Being able to be a 3/7 body and quest for 2, which is really good. So it's going to stick around for a little bit here, making Kenny send in 2 characters to challenge into it to get it knocked out, which is kind of nice to help clear some characters off the board.
Yeah, it also lets you discard a card to give it Challenger 3, I think. Um, Basically to boost its power. Um, and I don't know what he does with it here, though. With no cards in his hand, he doesn't really want to discard anything. He doesn't really need to either, though, right now. The biggest issue he has is that um, Kenny's still sitting on the belt. So he can move 3 damage over to this Jasmine to make it really, really, like, basically no matter what, George loses this Jasmine on the crackback.
Yeah, no, that's definitely gonna be rough. And then of course this queen just being able to gain some lore pretty quickly here, pushing him up pretty quick, and now we're sitting at 13 lore on Kenny's side. Uh, Gaining up that lore pretty quick. We do get to see Visions of the Future now. So we get to see hopefully maybe grab some cards here, and seeing what we can possibly grab to survive this, which is gonna be kind of rough. I don't know if there's really a way to survive it, but it's got to happen somewhere. He's got to find that one card that can help him out. And it looks like he's got a card, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's got the Namari, I think he grabbed. Just to try to have something big that can challenge easily. Big issue is that this queen is like the direct counterplay to this Namari, lowering its power every time. So it has to get rid of it.
All right, so we see the Jasmine challenging into the Queen, banishing it here, and then the Mulan challenging into the Jafar, taking out this Jafar. So shrinking Kenny's board a little bit here, so it's not as hard or as easy to quest for game or take out or haste characters here in those challenging. But of course, like we said, he has this bell in hand, so he can move this damage from Diago over to this Jasmine or even to the Namari if he needs to, and just take out these characters pretty easily.
Yeah, he's just gonna heal his Iago up and turn everything sideways again. Force George to deal with it again.
Now we're seeing Kenny Quest out here going to 16 lore, and Jorge drawing a card here, and not much he can pretty much do here. He did the Namari's ability, drawing card, discarding card, and Jorge decides to scoop here and go into the game too, because there's not much he's going to be able to answer here when he's got these big characters on the board. He could probably take out one, but it still wasn't going to get him enough, because that bell does quest for 2, putting it over to that 20 lore.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough position when George had to use his dock so early, especially with 2 cards in his hand that are pretty good for him in this matchup in particular. I'm not sure if he's on any of the shift targets for that Arthur. We didn't see any of the forecast Arthur that you were talking about earlier, that skips your draw step. I'm not sure if he's on any of those. We didn't see any, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple.
Yeah, I don't know if he was playing any of those in his list or not. It's definitely an interesting card to have, and definitely being able to draw some card switches from like Dock and some of the other options as well. Looking through the deck, trying to find cards with like visions or develop. Really nice. Kind of just going through the deck so you can thin it out, find the cards you need, and get those, since you're not going to be able to draw a lot. But like I said, doesn't look like he sees it, but we do see some cards here. We're going to be going it in mulliganing or altering hand here, and looks like we're just going to be sending a bunch back from Jorge's, and we're going to be looking at Kenny. What is he going to decide to alter here? Doesn't look like it doesn't have that bad of a hand here. Doesn't look like he has a 1-drop though.
Yeah, I don't think he has a 2-drop either.
He's got that Jafar in hand and sending it back. So we're seeing three.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say we're seeing 3 cards being sent back. So almost half, just under half of his hand here, being sent back. Trying to see if he could find that 1 or 2 drop, because if not, he's gonna be slow. But Jorge looking at 3 T-Pos in hand. I think he's going to be ramping.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And you just get to see T-Po upon T-Po upon a T-Po. I mean, that's
at least he had this Mulan to filter out some of the T-pos.
Yeah, that the Mulan is definitely nice to have here. Getting those out, and of course, what do we see? Ink a T-Po to play this T-Po. That third T-Po in the opening hand, inking something else from his hand here. So he can go to 3 ink, kind of speeding up that ink race, and then questing with this Mulan. Now we see this Captain Hook on Kenny's side here. Now we do get to see this Calhoun. He has 2 Calhouns in hand right now, which isn't bad here. So you can take out these little characters the following turn if Jorge decides to exert them to either quest and maybe challenge if they need to, but we'll see if that even happens. Deciding not to challenge into this Mulan with Captain Hook to weaken the board a little bit is quite interesting. We do get to see Kita now coming down, which does have, I believe it's Ward, if I'm correct.
Yes, as Ward. I don't hate not challenging with the Hook. This Mulan, like you have this Calhoun, which freezes the board state now. Like George isn't allowed to quest with either of these 2 characters because now Kenny can take a way better trade this turn if he really wanted to with attacking or challenging the Mulan with the Calhoun and then the T-Po with the Hook and take a way better trade. So he's like, George is forced to kind of stand still for a turn here while he's staring down 2 Calhouns and has to figure a way to get around them.
Yeah, this is definitely rough now. I mean, he has to use his Kita here to help him ramp up a little bit. But now he's going to get challenged into it with these Calhouns and hoping maybe he can play some of these cards here. Not too sure, but we will see what he can do here and hopefully get rid of these Calhouns.
You can get rid of one of the challengers here, which is good, and then he's going to play... Okay, then he's just got the dock. What did he keep on top? Didn't see what that first card was.
Yeah, I didn't see what the card that he kept on top here. I mean, I believe we're going to see it here in his hand just in a second. Okay, or not see it in his hand yet. Just immediately look and put it away. Why don't you?
A little fast on the draw there. I see a genie come down here. It's going to be annoying to deal with.
Yep, there's Genie drawing some cards now and seeing what we can do. From Kenny's side, I mean, we've got... Looks like Kenny's got some decent hand control or easy ways to help him ramp up. However, we didn't see the Calhoun challenge into the Kita. We did see this Rafiki challenge into it, banishing it. But still keeping these Calhouns alive is very nice, just so he can take out these weaker characters and still survive, where he wouldn't have with that Kita.
Yeah, I mean, he traded his 1-cost character for George's 4-cost character. Like, it's a pretty good trade no matter what. And he'd rather just throw away this 3-2 that he doesn't actually care about. And save these Calhouns to still, like, freeze the board. George still isn't allowed to really quest or do anything while these are sitting around.
Yeah, George has got to find a way here to ink, or not really to ink, I'm sorry, to take care of these Calhouns, because they are going to be a little hard to get around here. You got to find some ways to play more Hades to ink them, which would be good, but it's going to be a little rough because we already got this one Hades. Hoping to find some more Hades here or other ways to remove these Calhouns, like with strength or something else.
I think he's on the... I don't remember his name exactly. Vincenzo, though, I think is his name.
The guy from Treasure Planet, the
He,
Vincent or something, whatever his name is.
yeah, I think it's Vincent or Vincenzo. I can't exactly remember his name, but it's the 7 cost that comes down and deals 3 to something. So he does have like Hades. He has that. He has a couple of answers to these Calhouns, but he just has to find them, and with only 1 card in his hand, he's not in a bad spot. He has offered this Hades in exchange for his 2 Calhouns. I don't hate this. If Kenny wants to take it, it does mean that this Hades has 2 for 1 Kenny pretty well, and he only gets 1 trigger off of the Calhoun. If I'm George, I don't exactly hate that. It gets them off the board and starts letting him hopefully quest a little bit more. Doesn't take the trade though.
Yeah, leaving that Hades here, and of course there he is.
There it is.
Mr. I'm gonna say Vincent. I think it's Vincent, I believe. But takes it out, gets rid of it, and we're starting to answer these Calhouns now. And we see a strength as well. Dang, we're gonna see the strength come down. Figuring out what we're gonna target here. We're gonna target the Iago here, because that is going to definitely banish some of these other characters pretty easily with that 4 strength. So leaving the Calhoun and the White Rose here on the field. And now Kenny's got to find an answer to all these characters.
Yeah, this is George's top deck pretty well from for the past couple of turns here. Finding a bunch of Hades, finding this Vincent. Should just start clearing out these Calhoun, start dealing with the problem characters. And hopefully start winning back the board.
It is Vincenzo, I believe is what his name is. It's not Vincent.
Vincenzo?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
right.
Vincenzo.
So now we see this Jafar come down, giving some strength to this White Rose to challenge into the into one of the Hades here, and then of course we've got the Captain Hook coming down, as well as this follow up on some of these other characters. So this Hades, one of the Hades, is now banished. So he was able to answer one of them, but I don't know if he'll be able to answer all these other characters. He can answer one other character next turn, but we see beyond the horizon. Hawaiian roller coaster ride over here we're having, drawing some cards. We get to draw 3 cards on Jorge's side because he gets to choose who gets to discard and draw cards, and he chose himself.
So on Arthur and Hades, I'm not sure what the other one was. So pretty good 3 cards you just drew there.
He is definitely on a roller coaster ride now. And getting those cards, getting to that peak, climbing up, almost going down that drop as a finish here. He's getting that to that end of that ride real quick.
I'm not sure what Kenny would have to answer all of these. I guess these Jafars aren't the worst things in the world right now. Can swing for 5. This Vincenzo is going to be annoying to get rid of. It's a 2/8, so it's so huge. He's going to have to use 2 things to get rid of it no matter what happens.
Yeah, and Jorge here gets a quest for 5 this turn, which is nice. Puts him really close here. Would put him at 16 if he decides to do that. But he does have quite a bit of cards here in his hand. He's got another Hades to get rid of the Jafar. And now getting a quest for that 5 here, going to 16. And pretty much controlling this board really well. And ending the game, going into game 3 with Kenny scooping, seeing that he's not having much to be able to do, and knows that that Jorge gets a quest the following turn to win the game.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, both decks, I think this is pretty 50-50 on both sides. I think both decks don't struggle to draw cards, but we haven't seen a ton of cards on Kenny's side that let him draw cards. I don't think he's on Yzma's or Dumbos or anything. So his card draw is also quite limited, just like George's is. So I think this just ends up being to whoever top decks better, or can at least like. I think Kenny had a decent shot there if his Calhoun's didn't get blown up so easily. If George hadn't seen like the Vincenzos and Hades, I think it would have been a lot tougher, simply because he didn't have a good way to get around these Calhoun's, and I don't know how many reasonable ways he has to deal with them.
Yeah, those have been rough. Definitely, those Calhouns would definitely kept him in the game if you didn't lose those here. Definitely a tough thing for him, and had to try to find a way to basically come back from that. But we're seeing here going into game 3, there was a lot of big characters on Kenny's side or in his hand. He had a lot of 3-cost and a lot of 4-cost characters. Didn't really get to see any 1 or 2 drop characters. He did have strength as well. Of course, we're going into the altar, so he altered 2 cards. Seeing what he had here, and I think for the most part, I think Jorge kept a good portion of his hand.
Yeah, I think he kept like 4 cards.
I mean, he had a good curve. He had like a Mulan into a Tipo, and then whatever else his 4/3 drop that he would have here is definitely going to be really nice.
I think he's a Basil in his hand. Curious if he gets rid of it here. No, just gets rid of Hades. Isn't going to play it anytime soon. He has to kind of hope he gets 7-9 first to be able to play it. Curious if he's going to try and get this this Basil down or not.
Yeah, Basil could definitely be an interesting card here being played. I mean, being able to give the support here to some of his characters, which is really nice to challenge into and banish some of these other characters that Kenny will be playing, is going to be good. But instead, we're just going to see it ink. He's just going to ink it and play this Tipo.
Yeah. Probably get rid of the Milan if I had to guess. Doesn't really have a ton of use for these 1-drops anymore.
No, but he does have this Kita for the following turn, which is nice. He has a Kita, and I know he has strength, but I couldn't see the other 2 cards that he had. Looks like Scrooge, and then
Scrooge.
Is it Visions or Develop? It's Develop.
I think so. It's one of the 2. And he's gonna get on his snake thing here, doing giant cobra things.
Gaining some lore, putting some lore on the board, which is nice. We're inking the strength, so the evase loses. Oh, he's got his second one. Never mind. I didn't even see you draw the second one.
I think you drew it for turn. Perhaps fire the cannons for any other
illusions.
Any other illusions that come out, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a good card to have. I mean, because we do get to see this giant cobra in Kenny's hand here with 2 genies and a white rose. So he could play this card and hope that maybe he can keep it. We'll see. I believe he's probably going to play this genie, drawing his card. So now this genie gets to stick around just a little bit longer, and hopefully like sequester him some. But we do get to, of course, he does have the second genie and drew a Rafiki for the turn. Or not for the turn, but for the genie effect, which isn't too bad.
I think if George ends up losing this game, it's going to be due to these genies if he doesn't find a way to answer them, because he does have 2. And George doesn't have a good answer for them in his hands currently. So he has to hope that this Kita can stick around long enough to dig him into an answer.
Yeah, we gotta hope and see what this Kita can do. I imagine she could find something easy. I mean, you're looking at 2 cards. Finding those 2 cards, picking one to ink, one on top of the deck, isn't terrible, because you just get to dig, find those, filter through, and figure out what you need in those tight search situations like this to find ways to answer these genies, like finding a Hades or finding the our good old Vinzisco. However you want to pronounce that guy. Big old guy here to deal some damage, which is good.
Vincenzo.
Yeah, there you go. But we do get to see strength, though. We see the strength.
Strength, but with no characters, just not doing too much. He's gonna have to use strength and fire the cannons to get rid of a genie at this current second. He's gonna have to hope to find maybe another character next turn. Or actually, I think you put the strength on top. The only awkward part about the Kita is that like a character, like, you know what you're gonna draw now, so you can't draw a character to make the strength more useful. We'll have to see if, luckily, if Kenny decides to get rid of the Kita, he's gonna swing with both genies, slowing him down a ton. Hopefully, that means that he gets to keep these genies around. Is probably what I would be thinking here is Kenny.
Yeah, and if he does decide to challenge into it, he does get to lose them next turn because he does have that fire the cannons and the strength drawing, so he can do both of those and knock out both the genies if they decide to challenge, but they didn't. They decided to quest with them. And we're going to see what Kita can do next, and it finds, I think, a Hades, and I don't know what the second card was, but Hades is now on top of the deck, and he will probably be playing it coming up in the next turn or two. Knocking some characters out. We're going to pay 1 for the fire the cannons, targeting the giant cobra here, and leaving these 2 genies. Scrooge is just going to be questing now and seeing what else he can do.
Yeah, I think if it was a Hades he kept on top, it's pretty good because he gets to get rid of both of these genies this turn. Hopefully, it's not too late. We'll have to see. Can he get down this Abu?
And now we're starting to get characters here coming down, reading what the Abu does, but these genies are definitely been questing for quite a bit here, questing for a turn now. So he's at least gained 8 lore with these genies. These genies are definitely going to be questing, or he needs to find an answer for these, and it looks like he, of course, has the Hades in hand, so he can now take out at least one of them and put it into the inkwell. But then, of course, we have this other genie that they got to find an answer for.
Well, he has the strength in his hand still, right?
Oh, he still has the strength in hand?
I think
Then
he
yeah,
still
then
does.
he's got the answer for it. Perfect. He's got the answer for both of them.
Yeah. I think this Abu causes another issue, though. I think it copies a quest. It copies the character's lore total, I believe. So I'm not sure if that wins him the game. I think he's at 15 right now.
Yes, 15-4.
Yeah, so he's going to gain 3 with this Abu this turn. That's pretty scary, putting him to 17.
Oh, and we have a queen come down, so he can gain this lore now pretty quickly. Wow. So we're going to be going up to 18 here, or he's got to find an answer to answer this queen and a Boo on the field, and hoping that he doesn't draw into a giant cobra, because giant cobra could come down here and gain 2 lore and win the game here. Jorge needs to find some answer here. Of course, the top card of his deck is the Beyond the Horizon that he just drew for turn, so he can sing this, hopefully maybe get some 3 cards and see what these 3 cards can get him, and maybe find an answer for these other cards here.
The big issue is that he's got to find a way to deal enough damage to this Abu. He has enough damage and be able to sing. I guess he doesn't use his ink yet, so he could.
I mean, Abu is an illusion, is he? Or is he not?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, then he's just got to find a way to target it.
But he needs to deal with the queen, too.
Now he does,
any
yes.
removal that he does find needs to target the queen.
Oh, we're seeing 7 being paid, and it is for Vincenzo. Let's go. Dealing the damage to the queen and taking it out. Let's go.
Does Kenny still have cards in his hand?
I believe he has 1 card, maybe 2 cards in his hand, and then, of course, to draw for turn. It looks like he has 2 cards. 2 cards in his hand. That is all he has.
George, just to hope that he doesn't find a thing that quests for 2 or a Cobra. We did see 2 Cobras already, so the chances that Kenny finds a Cobra are pretty small. Didn't want to see this.
See another queen. Oh, he's got to find an answer for the queen now.
Strength
I didn't catch it. 7.
King
7. Got an Arthur.
Oh, no, Arthur. Okay. That can challenge ready characters, so that's a good answer for him. He can throw Tipo into it.
Ugh. This Tipo can now go into this queen. Man, got the answer for it right there. And now we're going to see everything questing out, gaining some lore here, questing for 7, putting him at 12 to Kenny's 18. Kenny's trying to find his cards. Can he find the card he needs? But not before a dock is being played. And we see a strength from the dock. Oh.
Strength. I think Strength's going to seal the game up anyway. Even if he does lose.
Oh. No Cobra. And there it is. That is the game questing out. Man. Jorge came back from the very end, from the very bottom, and came all the way up, questing out. Was able to control that board. Crazy match. That was a crazy match.
Yeah, he was hanging on the edge of his seat for like every draw he had. I think that Beyond the Horizon must have been like perfect, because I think he hit like the Arthur, the Vincenzo, and something else. I think maybe it was the Doc or something. So that was wild. Just like had everything he needed right there from that Beyond the Horizon. That like I said though, I think the biggest thing he had an issue with was those genies. If he did not find an answer to deal with them, he was like, that was the thing he just got to lose to.
Yeah, those genies stuck around for so long and was just able to gain that much lore. I mean, if we look at that 18 lore that Kenny had, I mean, 8 of those were genies. 8 of them were. And that's crazy that it was that many. I mean, probably even 10 at some point. Might have been 10. But either way, that's a lot of lore gained from those genies that needed to be answered. And luckily enough, Jorge found that answer and got those Hades and then that Beyond the Horizon to find the other answers he needed just to get rid of those genies and then get rid of any other character that was going to be played from Kenny's side. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys click the subscribe button and click that bell icon to get notified of new videos coming up, because we are going into Whispers of the Well here. Coming in next week, I believe, or at least this weekend when this video gets posted. I'm excited for Whispers of the Well. Are you excited for it, Tyler?
Yeah, I am. I think it comes out November 7th, so I think next week's video will still be Fabled.
Oh, it's the following week?
Yeah, I think it'll be
one more week.
So,
well then, perfect then. Then make sure you click that bell icon then and that subscribe button so that you get notified of videos for that one, because we are going to be doing a live stream unboxing some cases, or at least a case of Whispers of the Well. And ready to see what cards. Hopefully we can pull like an iconic. That would be cool, or even some enchanteds from that case. That would be really nice. I'm ready to see some of these iconics. I've only seen one iconic so far in person, and they look gorgeous, and I'm ready to see what they're going to do with these Hades and the Ariel that comes out in this next set. I'm ready to see those. I think the foiling is great. I think it looks great. So definitely come check it out, because we're going to be unboxing that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. And make sure you click the like button on this video here, and let us know what decks you guys like to see, or what's your favorite part of Fabled, because Fabled's been pretty fun. It's had some interesting matchups, had some interesting decks. We know Blurple kind of took over the meta, but I'm ready to see what other what things are coming out in the future. But let us know what you liked about Fabled in the comments down below. But until next time, we will see you later. Bye.